Yo guys, welcome back to the Blue Podcast with me, Tom and Ben. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks.
And today we got a little preview for the weekend. We got a Southampton fan, Jack from Matchday Vlogs. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'm really good. Ready to talk about some football. Ready for it.
Definitely. You're not slightly worried for this weekend?
Oh, mate, I'm worried every weekend. Like it's the fear hasn't gone. The last 6 games have been terrible, and unfortunately for us, we're now playing a Chelsea side that seem to know what they're doing a bit more than they did, 6 weeks ago, and that's the worst. Like at the beginning of the season, Mike, the other chap from Matchday Vlogs and me, he put Chelsea to win the league because of all the signings. He was nuts. I didn't think it was true. I put you like third, I think, but we all thought you were going to do well, and then you didn't, and now it seems to be the worrying side that we all thought you were going to be.
I think it's the new manager bounce, isn't it?
Yeah,
They're always going to do well once you get a new manager in.
Yeah, you're currently on that bounce right now, and I think this is just a bad time for us to play you. I mean, we really need like a Sheffield United this weekend, or just something to get our hopes up a little bit. But instead, it's another roadblock for us.
You've got 4 games till Sheffield United. You got Chelsea, Leeds, Everton, then you got Sheffield United. So
yep, we've got a bit of a wait, and those are all just tough games.
I mean, it was going really well, wasn't it,
mate? 6 weeks ago, it was a different story. But then 6 weeks before that, it was this story now. So it's all Southampton. We're just up and down. So,
that's the Premier League this season, though. So many teams have had just massive ups and massive downs. That's why the top of the table, really from second till 10th now, can change within 3 games.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I think it also I think it says how good of a manager Hasenhüttl is, that he's been beaten 9-0 twice. He's not been sacked because he's a good manager.
That's an interesting statement to say. This manager's so good, having lost twice 9-0 in 2 seasons. But
but like the fact that he's been beaten 9-0 twice and he hasn't been sacked for it shows that he's a good manager. Like he's obviously going the right way and doing the right things.
Yeah.
The club is so built around Ralph. It's crazy. Like the infrastructure is all him. It's since when he came in, obviously we were a right mess of a club. We just had almost a full season with Mark Hughes. That's as low as you can get in Premier League football, is a season with Mark Hughes. So it was terrible. And the 9-0 against Leicester is so different against the 9-0 against United, because the Leicester one we deserved to beat 9-0 down because of everything that had been going. Like we deserved to lose 9-0. And then the United game, it was like, I can't believe we've done it. I can't believe this has happened. But it's so different because we know coming out of the game, it might not happen next week. Whereas after the Leicester game, it was like, this could happen against... We played City afterwards, and we were like, this could definitely happen against City again. So it speaks volumes how much we love him. I mean, Pat, we are now on our worst run of form. 6 losses in a row isn't great. So there are people that are starting to turn, but those people who are turning against him are just ridiculous. We're not going to find a better manager than Ralph. There are top clubs that would love Ralph.
You got to give him to the end of the season at least to make a judgment, I think.
I mean, I think this run right now it is what it is, and like you said, there's ups and downs this season, and we were up for a long time. We were top of the league for the first time ever. I know that's not much for top 6 clubs, but for us that's quite a big achievement. So now we're back to where we should be. But we're doing all right in the FA Cup, and that's something to hold on to for now.
Yeah. Well, no, I think you should beat Bournemouth and get to the semis. So
that's a really big. I think it's a great draw for us, and it's just a shame this might be our first Wembley trip in a while, then we're not allowed to be there.
Yeah,
I think that'd be the biggest heartbreak, is if we have this all right season and we get to a Wembley, or we somehow get to a final when we can't be there. That will be the worst thing.
Yeah, it's a lot like how a couple of Leeds rival fans were laughing at them for not being in Wembley for when they got promoted.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. That's the only time I do feel for football fans. The only time I've really felt for Liverpool fans was like, it's a shame you can't be there. As much as I don't like you, it's just a shame that you can't be there. That's the only time.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I can't, like, you're definitely not going to get relegated. But if you finish the season in poor form, do you think there'll be question marks? Or
there will be question marks, but I think there's a lot of answers to those questions. I think you don't want to talk about it straight away, but the officiating in our games in the past couple of weeks have been really detrimental. Like
oh my god, yeah.
Like it's really. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that's like blaming the refs for everything, but I hate the referees in our league. They're terrible. The officiating's awful, and we've been probably affected the most from it the past few weeks. Like, obviously, the United game.
I said the Villa one for me was I was furious with the refs during that game. I watched it, and
we were just screaming. Like, if you the good thing about those is that's when our viewership on the vlog goes right up because people just want to see us get angry, but. Yeah, we've had some just terrible calls. The Villa game was terrible, and then even last week against Wolves, the two handballs. If you're going to give one, you've got to give the other. Like we've just been hit hard by it really badly the past few weeks, and our heads drop. It changes the game, and when you keep getting hit like that, the mentality does start to just wear away. But we're looking up. It was we should have won against Wolves. We got a point, so. It's a weird place to be right now. That's why I'm more nervous about this game against Chelsea on the weekend.
Fair enough.
Because Werner's really good.
Yeah, he is. See, I've had a lot of people like, oh, he's rubbish. He's never going to be.
I knew you were going to have a boner over Werner because of that volley. I knew it.
Mate, I have said for a while, once he starts getting more confidence, he's going to become very, very good.
Yeah.
Two performances in a row.
There's no denying that, but I knew it. You're gonna be like, Werner's the best player in the Premier League.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
it. He's thinking it. He's thinking it. That's what
I can think what I want, but I'm honest. About it. But yeah, no, I was smiling a lot when I saw Werner put the ball in the net. I know it was scruffy. I know it felt very, very lucky for him. But sometimes with a striker out of confidence, that's what you need. To get in the swing of things. So hopefully he bags a brace against Southampton.
I'll tell you about a decent individual performance. See last night. Did you watch it?
Which one?
Mbappe.
Oh, the Barcelona and PSG game. I watched the highlights because I was watching the Liverpool game instead.
No, I watched the PSG game. He absolutely tore it up. Like people were writing him off a little bit, like, oh, he's not done anything for like a little bit. He was like, right, here I am. It's something I think it's
like a hat trick against Barca.
Yeah, it's something like he hadn't scored in the Champions League knockout in over a year, and so he's like, all right, I'll score a hat trick against Barca then. Like,
It's easy to do it when you got Poch in your corner, though, isn't it? Everyone knows that.
Oh yeah. I saw the bit before the game about Poch, and it was all like. Ex-player coming back again. Like there's so many ex-players managing old clubs, like that they played for. It's quite mad. They were listing them off, and I was like, oh yeah, bloody hell. So there's 2 in Italy, 2 in Spain, one. Well, the bit obviously Poch in France. Well, not only Solskjaer and Arteta now in England.
Yeah. What happened to that other one? What happened to Frank?
He wasn't good enough.
He wasn't good enough.
No, but I want to say though, he'd be good enough for Arsenal. He's not good enough for Chelsea.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in thinking that. Is it a bit upsetting how good Tuchel has been since he's come in? Because it does sort of shine a light on just maybe how how Frank wasn't quite up to it.
I'd say next season is when we can verify if it's just if he is if it has been that difference. Obviously, if Tuchel goes on to not lose a game for the rest of the season, then maybe probably.
I mean, wow, that's a big ass from him. That's
a big ass.
Is that where you've set the bar?
Huh?
Is that where you've set the bar?
No, I'm saying like if he does that. So this is before next season. So if he does that before next season, then we can say before next season. But
I think
we need to wait till next season.
I mean, there's no doubt. And I mean, you don't even have to sort of look at the games either. You can just look at their coaching, their managerial history to know that he is tactically better.
Tactically, so much better than Frank Lampard.
So like in matches, obviously he has, but he's had experience That's the whole
Crazy,
point.
that isn't it? It's crazy. Who would have thought?
I know. So it's like Frank might be able to get there, but he needs to have that experience first.
He needs longer. He needs like 10 years, I think.
He needs to like go and manage, I don't know, Newcastle or someone
Celtic.
like that, and then someone else.
Rip up in the Scottish League like Gerrard is.
Celtic, yeah.
Yeah, the Gerrard route it seems to be the more correct way. Like actually finish a few seasons, try and win something, get something under your belt before. I mean, if you're Frank, you couldn't not say no to that.
Yeah,
job.
that's so. I've said this on other.
I mean, I completely get that. Like, you can't really say no to like the club you love, blah blah blah. But there was an article about Nagelsmann, wasn't there, on Nagelsmann, and he rejected Madrid. Because he was like, obviously it was really difficult to turn down, but you've got to have a career plan. So why couldn't Frank done that?
That's a good question. I think he may also have had a couple of yes men in his corner, e.g. his uncle, who probably said that he was ready.
Yeah.
That might have, or maybe he was just too confident in himself as well. But I think it's been quite clear, and we've said before, like he wasn't really ready for it. Like one season at Derby isn't enough to then become a success at Chelsea, really, considering how cutthroat Abramovich is. Obviously, you'd think as a Chelsea legend he'd get more time, but obviously that didn't happen. So I'm happy Tuchel's here now. I'm not. It's bittersweet, as I think I've said before. It's bittersweet. Obviously, you lose your club legend, but you bring in a really tactical manager. So swings and roundabouts. And obviously, only a Chelsea player have scored in the period of time Tuchel's been manager. Only Rudiger own goal. So technically, no one scored against us.
No, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I take positives out of nothing, mate. You'll see.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you were talking about the United game. I think that like you have to, like, you were struggling to put out an 11 for that game.
Oh mate, we really suffered.
Yeah, and like you had a red card like straight away. Then you got another red card later on. Like, it's just everything conspired against you that game. It was ridiculous.
And an offside and a goal that was disallowed for offside, right?
Yeah, which wasn't offside. Maguire was playing him on. It was. Before the game, we had Red Devil Studio on, and I kind of said, I feel like this could be the game where we get a hammer in because of the depletion in the squad, and if we weren't set up tactically spot on, it was going to happen. The biggest thing in the game was Janowicz, who was the guy who got sent off. That was his first game for the senior squad. He's been absolutely tearing it up in the under 18s. He's recently put in a transfer request because he wants more game time. So when he started, we were all a bit like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. And then 3 minutes later, he was off the pitch. So we were just like, uh-oh, this is real. This is going to be real trouble. But then at the same time, you'd have thought, oh, it's all right, senior players are on the pitch. But it's one of those times where the class of what United have just did their job. And all they had to do was do their job because there was no stopping them at that point. Everybody's heads drop. And then 4-0 down, you think this is terrible, but 4-1 at halftime is a slightly different story. You can kind of reload a little bit. You're 3 goals behind, shut up shop, change, but we didn't change tactics, which is something that Ralph is. We know that's the one thing that everyone started to get a bit angry about. Ralph didn't change the tactic. He didn't shut up shop. His idea was stick with the plan, try and get a few goals back. And it just didn't work. And then, like you say, the red card that wasn't a red card, a penalty that wasn't a penalty, a goal that wasn't a goal. It was just like a horror show. I was sat here watching it just like, this is a nightmare. Please just wake up. The only upside of it is last time we lost 9-0, I was there sat in the rain. And this time when it was over, I could just switch the TV off. And
that's a lot better.
It's a lot better.
But everything just seems to conspire against you. And it was really annoying because, like, obviously United fans were buzzing about it, blah blah blah. But it's like you got to look at the context. Like,
United fans, they're the ones that were those that are buzzing. Luckily, all the United fans that I spoke to and all the United, they were all really nice to us. I think outwardly United were like, look at what we've done, but to us they were like, Sorry about that. sorry about what we've just done, dear. There was a point where what was it? Ollie didn't bring. Was it who? Ollie took off. I think it was Rashford, and we were just sort of like, thank God, he's putting on youth now because he knows just to be nice to us for a little bit. It was so awful at the end, but yeah, it was a depleted squad. Like literally, the 11 that you saw, well, the 10 players that you saw were the only 10 from the regular starting lineup. The entire bench was youth. It was awful, and then there was just nothing to bring on.
One less sub as well.
Yes.
I think you had 2 goalkeepers on the bench as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. That's how thin it is. One of the craziest things is we have no replacement fullbacks. None. The ones that's it. And we had 2, and we sent them both out on loan in January.
Nice.
After they kept a clean sheet against Shrewsbury and Arsenal in the FA Cup, they even sent them out on loan. So again, something that we were all like, "What's happening?" And then we got Minamino on loan, and we were like, "Oh, that's all right then." we got a bit excited about Minamino, and we kind of forgot about the rest of it. But it is drastic. We have got very, very little. So the starting of Janowicz, that player, you can kind of look at it a few different ways. It was he asked for a transfer request, so this is Ralph sort of saying, "All right, then, if you want to play games, here's United. Show us what you've got." But it was also a good way of showing the board we'd have nobody left. So look at what we've got to start with against United, and look what happens when we do that. So it's it was a lot of questions raised after that game, but Ralph's security was never in doubt. But honestly, like if people knew how the story of what we had going in, everybody would understand why we lost 9-0.
Yeah. Ben's spoken a lot about context with that game because I didn't really know half of it. I just knew you lost 9-0, but I knew about the offside goal that shouldn't have been offside. But yeah, no, it's I think any fan would be happy with the board about that.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just been talking about context of like these recent results. So obviously like that result, the Chelsea result against Tottenham, there was another one. It's like these are all like you have to look at the context because that'll give you the true sort of reflection of that game. Yeah.
It tells you how bad it is where it's the game after that is the game that finally got Mike Dean to stop reffing games. Like they were so like we had Lee Mason and Mike Dean the game before it switched roles, and that was the Villa game, and then switch it the other way and for the United game, and it's just as bad. So we got done by them twice, and then obviously the next week they had the Fulham elbow, and then that was it. So we were just this amalgamation of we're getting all the worst officiating, and you can see people conspiring against us with not through actual malice, but because they're just bad at their job. So it was just everything on top of each other, and just the Jenga tower finally fell on us, and it was a really hard night, and it's been hard ever since then because we just haven't won apart from the FA Cup. The FA Cup is our only shining light right now.
Well, let's take you out of a dark corner of Southampton right now. Please do that. Let's talk about tomorrow's City v Everton game. We'll do predictions later. We do predictions on our channel and on our Twitter. And Ben technically got a point for a prediction, even though technically it wasn't on the tweet, but given
right. So what happened was I think like we did the predictions on the last podcast, and I just copied someone else's, and then I forgot that I'd done that. So that I do these predictions with my dad, and I predicted 2-0 Chelsea on these predictions. But on the podcast, because someone else said 3-0, I said 3-0. So I was like, you got to give me this one. So hopefully, thankfully you did.
He's been going since the start of January and hadn't got a score prediction yet. So
wow, not one.
Not one.
Come on, man.
But yeah.
Just say 2-1 every time, and you'll eventually be right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's because one of our mates, Kieran, he's come on a couple times. He on his first weekend he got a point of guessing. So like we only do the Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and Arsenal game predictions, and he got it was second game he got a point, and Ben was like, "Oh, I'm going to give up here."
I mean, if I was gonna say, if I didn't get given that pity point for that prediction, I was gonna be like, you can just you can do the predictions. I'll just spectate like until next season. Like I couldn't hack it anymore.
Well, do you want to talk about the City Everton game? How are you feeling for that?
It's gonna be another difficult game. It's part of this run of 4 games that are difficult. I mean, obviously we've done really well so far, but you can't just it's like we were saying before. Like you can't just stop. Like you can't just be like, oh, we've won it, and then someone else will just come through. Did I say the analogy on this, or did I say it just before we started recording? I think I said it.
Do it again, mate. Double down on the content.
I think I said it before. Basically, it was saying that in a sprint race, you're not just going to stop and say you've won, because you haven't. You need to get over the line first, because if you don't, people are going to take over and beat you to the line. So, it's still got to keep up that concentration and all those things, intensity and that. But I think. I mean, I know a lot's been made of, because Everton and Tottenham played in the FA Cup and they played extra time, didn't they? Which is what Mourinho was complaining about, blah blah blah. But Everton are a bit longer to recover from that, so they'll be. I mean, they're a good team this season, so that they'll be up for it and that'll be difficult.
Well, they just lost 2-0 to Fulham on Sunday.
Yeah, so that's gonna be that'll be saying that's the extra time, isn't it? That drop in intensity. But I'm sure because it's City, their intensity will be right back up. So yeah.
What's your score prediction then, mate?
Oh,
are you gonna stick with the your lucky charm of always making sure City concede, because then they don't concede in real life?
I'll go 2-1 City.
2-1 City. All right. Jack?
Oh, don't know what. Yeah. Do you just do that every time? It's 2-1 City every time. It's always going to be. But no, go big. 3-0 City, because I just feel like they're doing it now. They're just City are on the charge, and I don't think they are going to drop their heads. I just think they mean it now. So now they're going to just strive on. And Everton are one of those teams where if they don't do anything in a game, they really don't do anything in a game. So if City can hold them down, it'll be fine. So yeah, I'll give you a 3-0 to City.
So is Aguero back?
He's back in the squad. I think he'll probably be on the bench.
And De Bruyne?
De Bruyne is nearly back, and Gundogan is not playing this today. I think he might be back at the weekend.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 City then. If you haven't got Aguero, Gundogan, or De Bruyne, I think Gundogan's quite a big miss as well.
Oh yeah. Currently, yeah.
2-0. I'll take that. Well, you'll be tagged in the post when we do it, mate. So you can always see if you get it right.
I can't wait to get some points on the board. I'm all about winning. It's one of those things. Saints don't win much, so I have to do really well in fantasy league accumulators. Anything else, I've got to try and succeed in.
Fair enough. All right. Well, pretty much the next game apart from Friday is 12:30 on Saturday is Saints versus Chelsea. How are you feeling for that? I think we said before, you're worried about that, aren't you?
If you were to ask me, like, on match day vlogs what I thought the score was going to be, I'd be really confident and biased towards Southampton. But because we're on here, I can tell you truthfully, we're probably going to lose. It's one of those games that when we went in against United, when we go in against City, any team like that, it's always, I think we're going to win 1-0, because that's the only way we'll win it, is with Danny Ings a smash and grab and the defensive line holds off. But Kyle Walker-Peters is out, so that's going to really affect our back line. Like, it sounds crazy that, that just one fullback gone and it's over, but for us, it kind of is. Unless Ralph comes out and changes formation and plays a 5 at the back like we've done a couple of times this season when we've been depleted, that's the only time we've been secure. But I don't want to see the lineup, but I honestly think it'll probably be a Chelsea smashing. I think we might concede quite a bit.
Score then?
I just can't say Southampton to lose ever, but because I'm on here, I probably have to. I'm going to say 1-0 Southampton.
1-0 Southampton.
1-0 Southampton. Yeah, I can't. If you actually match day vlogs, it'll be 3-0 Southampton. But I'm here.
Ben, what do you think?
2-0 Chelsea.
Come on, man. It's not often you're in front of a Southampton fan. You don't have to like.
Why is that? 2-0?
2-0. Why is that? Oh,
yeah.
Chelsea new manager bounce, playing well. The Saints struggling, depleted.
Yeah, but it's so typical for Chelsea to face a depleted, struggling side, e.g. Arsenal at Christmas, and them do really well and then beat you and make you look really bad. It's so typical Chelsea, though. Like, it happens all the time. I swear.
I mean, it was us doing that last Christmas. So, but we haven't got Michael Oberthorn anymore, so he's not going to be scoring against us.
I want to go 3-0.
Oh.
Purely because I think Werner's going to score 2. Someone else will still score. But and it will only concede if Rudiger puts it in the back of the net himself. So
is Kepa starting again? I saw him start. No, I saw him playing the other night. Is he not?
He's Tuchel. How do you say it? Does anyone actually know how you say it?
Tuchel. That's what I'm going for.
I just interchange it. I don't really.
Yeah. Tuchel said that. So he was asked the question of always, are we going to see more of Kepa? He basically said no. Mendy's our number 1. he just wanted to give him some more confidence after the FA Cup game. I thought this was an appropriate game. So no, Mendy's starting next game. That's a fact. Cool. It was just because Mendy was like slightly under the weather, so we just didn't want to risk it. Basically,
that makes sense. We're sort of in the same position. We've got McCarthy in goal, but he has really been the downfall of the team for the past couple of weeks. He's really given away some cheap goals and stuff. And Fraser Forster, who's back from Celtic, has got a clean sheet in the FA Cup. So a lot of us are sort of crying for Forster to start. But I feel like if McCarthy starts, you might see him make another mistake, especially against you guys. He just plays too much. He wants to be a part. He's a part of the back 4, and he plays too high out, and his positioning is terrible. So every so often he just knocks a pass. I can see him knocking in a pass to the Werner, and that's the start of the crumble. Like it's upsetting how much I can picture it.
Fair enough. Well, Merseyside derby on Saturday as well. I'll be having a few drinks with my mates for that. We want to do a score. We want to do score. Do you want to do your prediction for that, Jack, or are you happy to just leave it for the last 2?
I'm happy to do a prediction for that. I think that game's going to be a draw. So.
All right. Well, I'll get you down at _ Why is your at _ Fuels? Is that your surname?
No, that's just what all my social media is on. That's Mike doesn't let me use all the matchday vlog stuff because I'm just not allowed. I'm just not. It's just not mature enough for it. He has to look after it. So I have to use my one.
Yeah. I think. Liverpool dispatched Leipzig pretty easily last night, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was watching the game and different day, Leipzig either draw that or win that.
So, I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know.
Tell you who looked really good though. Apart from the odd bad pass, defensively, Upamecano looked unbelievable.
Well, he's going Bayern, so.
I know. Have you heard the rumours? Rudiger was interviewed by a German publishing, and he said he's been in contact with Alaba about coming to Chelsea.
I thought Oliver's always been saying that he wants to go to Madrid, though, hasn't he? He's like, that's his dream.
Hey, That's all Rudiger said. And apparently, well, he says he was helped get Havertz and Werner in the door, but we don't know how true that is, obviously. But we'll see. To be fair, I think I might forget the odd own goal if he gets Alaba at Chelsea. To be honest, I might forget the odd own goal. But Ben, what's your score prediction for the Liverpool game?
I don't know. Nah, I don't know. You come back to me.
Jack?
I think it's going to be 0-0 because that's just what that derby is. It's going to be dry and boring, and it like you say. I don't think Liverpool. You can get a draw out of them easily. We beat them. We've not won for 6 games, but we beat them. So it's just it's all depends on how Liverpool want to set up. But because every Merseyside derby usually tends to be a bit dry and boring and end in a draw.
Well, the one earlier in the season was pretty interesting at 3-3.
But that was their first one in years.
Yeah.
In years. And the Liverpool and Everton that played at the last derby were both really exciting teams. We're now on the repeat, and Liverpool are dropping, and Everton aren't quite as sparkly as we thought they were going to be. So I feel it's just going to be like, okay, this is what it actually is this season. It will be another draw, and I think it will be goalless. I just think it will be a dead game.
Fair enough. Ben, I'm going to go 2-2. Ben, what are you gonna?
I'll go 1-1.
We'll go in for draws.
Just the way it is. That's the way that derby plays.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do our Sunday predictions on Sunday when we have the purple show. But anyone watching at this point, do obviously comment your predictions when these get released, so you can be in the chance of being crowned the possible prediction king. That's what I'm calling it now. But you get Cam's on 4, I'm on 3, Fab's on 2, Doug and Kez are on 2, X_rivals is on 1, and Johnny from 15 MOF Pod is on 1. These are just people that have commented. I don't know. I'm speaking out their hats, and obviously Ben somehow is on 1.
Good job, bro.
Yeah.
Jack could be on more points than you at the end of the weekend. So
he will be I'm just happy with a point. Like, I'm done for the season now.
Fair enough. Well, what you got to do is if there's a game coming up and you've done your prediction with your dad and it's different to the tweet, just let me know and I can change it. So
yeah,
we can keep things simple.
Yeah.
All righty. Jack.
Hello.
We talk about your history of Southampton, which is what we often do with guests.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What would you like to know?
What was your first game, mate?
My first game, I don't know what. There's so many pictures of me going to games as a child that I'm like, I don't know what game that is. I don't know. But I've tracked down the first program that I've got, and that is the Southampton versus Newcastle in the 99-2000 season, and it was 4-1 Southampton, I want to say the score was. Either way, it's a game where Mark Hughes scored an absolutely insane volley, and it was the only reason that I was excited for Mark Hughes to become our manager, because I was like, remember that volley he scored? So that's that's the first game I went to. All on my dad's side of the family are all from Portsmouth, and they're all Portsmouth fans.
Ooh.
Apart from my dad, who's a Liverpool fan, because that makes sense. And so I didn't see them a lot. So all my mum's side are all Southampton fans. So it's a great when I get together. So you just brought up hating a city, which is a weird thing to say, but that is what life as a Southampton fan was. So yeah, Southampton fan all my life. Me and Mike have been, who I do matchday vlogs with, have been season ticket holders for only 2 or 3 seasons, but we've been going to games for about perhaps 4 or 5 or so. So but I've always gone to games. Dropped out a little bit when I moved away from the south of England. So, but even in those times, I was near Reading, so I got to see them play Reading in League One. Got to see it go to the heights of the Johnson Paint Trophy, which you two will never win. I just win the Johnson Paint Trophy, aka the Papa John's Trophy, as it is now, which is the classiest side of football that we have. So yeah, it's in the DNA, isn't it? I think that's the same for most people. It's you're a fan of your team from day one, and it's your closest team. if your local team's terrible.
Yeah, fancy facts. My first City game was against Southampton.
Oh, what year was this?
I want to say 2006 or 2007. I think we played at home. I think we won 3-1. It was, I think so. I can't remember. I know it was the time when Joey Barton was in our midfield and stuff like that. So,
yeah. My first ever away game was to Man City.
It was 2006, 2007?
No, it must have been 2003, maybe 2004. When it was still the City of Manchester Stadium. It was the first ever stadium I went to where I had to take escalators to my seat, and I was well impressed. And that is, I think that might still be the last time I went to Manchester. I'm still. We lost 2-0, and we scored from a corner, but it was offside, and then we scored. We scored. It was 2-1. We scored a penalty, and then we it was offside, so it was a real disappointing trip up. It was my first real taste of this is what it's like to go to an away day like really early in the morning in the cold, lose, and come all the way home and just be upset. It was. I don't think I've ever really recovered from that.
Yeah, I can't. It was 2006, 2007, 2008. It was around that time that I went. But yeah, that was my first game.
Yes, it's an honour, mate. I'm glad that it was us that could grace you with it for the first
time. It was pre-takeover that as well. So
yeah, no, man. I mean, we were all there pre-takeover. If you weren't there pre-takeover, you weren't really there, were you?
So, what was your favorite game ever?
The favorite game ever. I mean, it's probably it sounds cheap and petty, but it's probably one of the Portsmouth games. We beat Portsmouth 2-0 in the Premier League when it was one of the very few seasons we've both been in the Premier League together, and it was our first meeting in a long time. We won 2-0. That's the only Southampton Portsmouth game I've been to. Because they're rough and ready, and you never forget it. You know, when you go to a rivalry like that in person, you see people punching police horses and fireworks and flares. You're like, oh wow, this is something different. So just for going to a game, that was one of the best ones. But you know, it's probably the games that we were at is the Sunderland 7-0 game. That was a good fun day. That was, that doesn't happen to us that much. So it was in recent memory. That's one of the best ones.
Normally happens the other way around for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It's the only time I could point at to be like, look how good this was, right? Southampton have got really weird, we've got the fastest goal in the Premier League with Shane Long. It sends 7 seconds. Yeah. But we drew that game 1-1 when they scored in the 95th minute. So we went from the fastest goal to the latest goal, and that's Southampton. That's you break a record, and it's terrible. The only decent we've got is the fastest hat trick, which is Mane, which is 3 goals.
What
was it? I think it's 3 goals in almost 5 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what Southampton fans we hang on to those little things like. Coming up to the Premier League was insane. Even though, again, Southampton dominated the league all that season, but we still finished second. Like that's Southampton. every step of the way, we do really well, blow it at the last second, but if you can get something out of it. One game in particular, it was the Mark Hughes season when we were about to be relegated. Me and Mike, it was Swansea away. Me, Mike, and Mike's dad. We went to watch the game at St Mary's in the boardrooms. And it's weird to be in a room full of your own supporters and nobody else. It's even when you go to a game, there's still a corner of away fans, and you're never in a pub where it's just to be in a room about 100 Southampton fans and we won 1-0. I've never hugged more strangers in my life. If you were to show people now that, it'd be just classed as absolutely disgusting behaviour. But then, we were on tables, just kissing strangers. I mean, you know, so much other men's stubble was on my face that night. It was crazy.
Fair enough. Well, you haven't actually mentioned any particular players apart from Mark Hughes, but in your opinion, who are your 5 favourite Southampton players of all time?
5 favourites. Well, the top of the list for everyone is always Matt Latiz. Doesn't change for anyone. Even if you can even talk to supporters, that were born after he's been playing football, and you just go back and look at what he's done, what he did. He's insane. Like, you hear Xavi talk about, people don't understand how good Matt Le Tiss was and how weird his career was. The fact that he got 2 England caps because Glenn Hoddle didn't like him. Like, it's craziness. And like the goals that he scored, the things that he did for us, and then he never left. He was just one club the entire time. Apart from a little run with Torquay and Eastleigh in his 40s, but I don't really count those. So Le Tiss is top all the time. For me, when I was a kid, I was a goalkeeper. So we had a Finnish goalkeeper called Antti Niemi, and he was a little Finnish dude, short, bleached blonde hair, and he was amazing. Like, there's some great highlights if you watch him on YouTube. He was sort of the king of the double save, the big save, get straight back up, do it again. Like, that's more down because we were bad at defending, but he was always there to sort of cover us. So he's one of those goalkeepers that you long for. He kind of reminds me of like maybe a Kasper Schmeichel today. Like, maybe he probably wouldn't make it in the top teams, but he was a wicked goalkeeper for us. So he definitely my number 2. Also, as a kid, I cut my hair and bleached it like him as well. And when you're as pale as I am, man, that's not a look. Like, it's not good when a Finnish dude is more pale, like less pale than you are. Then probably after that, it's got to be Ricky Lambert. He's kind of the Le Tiss for the second generation of being in the lower leagues and trying to make our way back up. Everyone loves a non-league footballer making it good. And, everyone loves Vardy for that. People rate Charlie Austin for that. But for me, Lambert was kind of the guy, he scored insane goals for us. He never missed a penalty. Insane. And when he eventually left us to go to Liverpool, nobody was angry because we all went like, right, he's gone from playing non-league to playing for Liverpool, his boyhood club. So it's the only one of those signings that we weren't angry at. So
Liverpool always seem to raid Southampton, don't they? So
although but weirdly, the past few transfer seasons, they've given us Danny Ings and Minamino. So those are kind of good trades if you ask me. Like, I'll take hopefully we get to keep Minamino. So that. Liverpool, it's annoying because they didn't win the league with their Southampton Central squad, but they couldn't have done it without us. But we gave them Virgil van Dijk, so technically we won them the league.
Sorry if I've just made a confused face. I've just heard a dog yapping and then a squeal, and my window's closed. So I don't know. I'm worried to.
Well, that was Ellie. That was Ellie.
Was that? It sounded like outside.
No. Do you have any superstitions before games?
Do you know what? I try to take them out of it as much. The thing that it's more now than anything is when Southampton do, like, let's say against the United game when we were 2-0 up, when Bednarak scored, every comment in our section was, when Bednarak scores, we lose 3-2, and people just keep saying it, and then it happened. In the last United game, when the red card happened, our comment section went, it's going to be 9-0, and then it happened. So I've started to become really, really obsessed with, like, just don't say it. If you don't visualize it, and you don't speak the words, maybe it won't happen. Because it's crazy how Southampton, it's all those Southampton fans that are kind of anti-Ralph, or they don't like the way we play football for some stupid reason. There'd be the people that during the game are saying, we're going to lose this 3-2 now. We're going to lose this 3-2 now. And they will it into existence. So when they then prove right, it is the most frustrating thing ever, because then you can't argue with them because they were right. They were right that game, so shut up. And it's... So as far as superstitions go, not really, but that... that's the one thing I'm like, I just can't read those comments if they happen, because if I start thinking about it, it's going to happen. I will manifest this.
Yeah, that's a lot like with Ben always predicting that City will concede right now, just to make sure that they don't.
I never ever bet on Southampton, because then we will lose. I guess that's a superstition, right? Yeah, I will never bet on Southampton because we will lose.
Yeah, no, I just it's working at the moment. As soon as we concede one, I'll be like, all right, I can start predicting that like a 2-0 or something like that. But
how many games has it been now? 6, 7,
something like that. Yeah,
that's impressive. Try losing that many games, mate. That's impressive. In a row.
Oh dear.
Fair enough.
I couldn't hack that, mate.
I mean, City used to have to hack it. You don't have to hack
Yeah,
it anymore.
yeah. No, that's true. Like I'm just not used to it anymore.
Man,
I've
we used to be the same. Like 15 years ago, me and you could have been brothers, man, but not anymore. Not
true.
anymore.
It's true. Like I've been spoiled. That's all it is. I've been spoiled.
I can't say much as a Chelsea fan. Moving on though, before I get slated for being a glory hunter for some reason. What's your favourite goal from a Southampton player?
No, it's not hard. It's the most underrated goal of all time. It was a really boring game against Tottenham. One of the few that I was there for a kid. I think it's 2003, 2004 season. 0-0 was the most boring game I've ever seen. And then somehow in like the 80th minute, Rory Delap, if you all remember Rory Delap with his massive long throw-ins, scored a bicycle kick from a corner, and it's better than the Rooney one. I will say that. It's insane, and no one ever talks about it. But it's Rory Delap. Like that's the dude that takes the long throw-ins. That's all he's known for, and he scores this absolutely worldy bicycle kick. I remember coming home afterwards and just switching on every I had the match of the day recorded for ages on cassette, and I used to watch it as a kid on repeat. It was match of the day. Do you know when it was the Premiership on ITV?
Oh yeah.
It was that, and it was just I watched it on repeat. I remember it really well because the game afterwards was Chelsea against Wolves, and it was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's birthday, and he scored a hat trick. That's how much I watched that on repeat because I remember the game afterwards.
Yeah, I also watch that on YouTube now.
Honestly, it's so hard to find because no one cares, and the only clip of it is taken from the Premiership, and it's at like 240p. And it's like, is that? Yeah, hell yeah, it is him. If you can find it, it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that without a doubt, that's the best goal I've seen at Sothampton. Not often you see bicycle kicks.
Just like talking about this season, how do you? I mean, obviously it's gone a bit sour recently, but how do you feel the season is going for you?
The past 6 games have been so hard. Like we've tried to on the channel. We tried to be sort of the voice of reason in that when we started the season really badly, we were like, it's 2 games, 3 games, just calm down. We'll see how it goes. And then the form started, and it was really, really good football for probably about 2-3 months. Really good football. And everyone started praising the heights of, we're going to be pushing for Europa, we're going to be pushing for this, pushing for that. But at the same time, I always had the mentality of, if we finish 10th this season, I'll be happy because we finished 11th. All I kind of want is progression in what we're doing. 10th, 9th, that'd be amazing. And then now the form has switched up again, and everyone's like, Ralph needs to go. Like, well, not everyone, but those people that say that, or the players aren't good enough. It's like, well, no, now we've just kind of leveled out now. If you were to sprinkle these 6 games in between I think, what was it? We there was a point where we were 4 losses in 24 games, which is incredible for us. Like, if you were to sprinkle it throughout that and fatten it out, it doesn't look as bad. But it's because it's all come at once, and it's all come thick and fast, that it's really hurt us. But in whole, I'm happy with what Ralph's doing. Ralph's taken over the club, and he's got this way of playing football, the Ralph ball. And since he's taken over control of the youth squad. So everyone plays the exact same way of football now. So when the youth come in, they should be better suited for us. The downside is to that, the players that are coming through are just not in the positions that we need. And also, I don't really want a 16-year-old centre-back playing against Bruno Fernandes. I just don't care how good he is. I don't think anybody would be comfortable with that. But in whole, I'm happy with the situation that Southampton are in. There are fans calling for new ownership, which I think is a bit premature. He's just a quiet owner who doesn't say much, and everyone agrees Southampton is a feeder squad, and that's kind of what we're doing. But because we haven't bought we didn't buy like a replacement centre back, or we didn't spend. People take that as he doesn't want to spend on us. It's like, no, he's just spending the amount he said he would. It's just not what some people want. It's I get it. It's frustrating, but that's where we are. Everything's meeting my expectations as a Southampton. It's just some weeks we exceed it, and other weeks we really get dropped beneath it. It's roller coaster, mate. Southampton this year kind of decide to look at as a good description for the league this year. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to ask you a question that you probably don't know the answer to again. Is what do you think the future of Southampton will be like?
It's the same as it is. Really, it'll be mid-table, feeding other clubs. Every so often we'll have someone come through that's gonna explode, and a bigger club will sign. I'm not worried about us dropping down or relegation battles. I'm really not. I think we've got the quality in the side and a manager who's pushing for mid-table, or even Europa spot. So I'm not that worried about it. I think we're going to be in the league as long as possible, unless something ridiculous happens. But what we really want in the next maybe 5 years is hopefully either a nice little run in Europe or some cup. Like, we are all kind of hoping this might be a good FA Cup year for us. If VAR had existed, we would have won the league trophy a couple of years ago, but instead we got Zlatan. It's not often Southampton would get Zlatan, but we did. And that is the luck of a Southampton squad. You finally get to a final when Zlatan's in it. Great, thanks. So it's a little bit of silverware, a little bit of glory or something. Or with us, it's even if Danny Ings got a golden boot, we'd all be like, that's going in the trophy cabinet. Thank you very much. We won't be like Spurs and make memorabilia out of it, but we'll take it. So like that's all we're looking for is just stability and a few good wins. We're Southampton. We don't ask for much.
Yeah.
The highlight of our season so far is the fact that we've got a Hummel kit next season. We're stoked.
Hummel?
Yeah,
they're not bad.
Have you seen the Hummel Denmark kit from the 80s?
Yeah.
So that's a Southampton kit. That's a Southampton kit from the same year, and no one ever talks about the Southampton kit, and it's exactly the same thing, and it is beautiful. So all of us are just like, if we have that kit next season, people might think we look good. Everyone gives us grief for our kits because they're the big awful Aldi logo, which we then lost. And our shirt this season has been a whole other saga in Southampton football. Like, I've still got the wrong shirt. It's craziness, but.
I quite like the kit. I've still looked it up.
It all depends which one you're looking at, because if you're looking at has it got the LD logo on it, or has it got the sports bet logo on it?
Draper Tools.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the Draper Tools one. Yeah, that's the Hummel one. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of our 2 nice kits in our history. That's one of the 2. So
yeah, we did a like a kit tier table near the start of the season, and I'm not gonna lie, we didn't have Southampton's kit very high, if even above average. I don't think it was. So
it even split the fans. Like, I liked it because it's the sash, and that's what that was our promotion kit. So it's got good history for us. And at the beginning of the season, it wasn't too bad with the Aldi logo on it because they incorporated it into the kit. Then 2 weeks before the start of the season, we lost Aldi as a sponsor.
How was that?
Because they were a Chinese company, and the Chinese left the league. Oh. So they left with it. So we were left sponsorless. So we had to find a sponsor real quick, which meant everybody who bought. So Southampton just have stocks and stocks and stocks of these Aldi kits, which are now not our kits for the season. And if you buy the new one, it doesn't have an Under Armour logo on it, so we're not sure who makes the new kits.
Oh.
So it was crazy. So it's just awful. So we had these pretty decent. Well, I thought they looked nice kits, but to the very edge of like, right, if they could be bad, but the logos are kind of saving it. And then we lost the logo. I was like, oh, now it does look really bad. So now we just got an ugly kit. But the good thing is, if you like the first kit, they're now going for like a tenner because they've got ridiculous amount of stock of them and they're not right. So it's really cheap to get Southampton kits right now. So if you fancy getting people presents that they don't want.
I mean, it's not the worst kit in the world, but it's not the best. Like,
it's not.
West Brom's kit this season is
it's hard to look at. I hate playing West Brom away on FIFA because I can't look at them.
It's horrible. But yeah, no, I don't. It's not the best, not the worst. But
it's one of those things of like we get made. Like, last season was a really ugly kit, and then the season before that it looked like you were wearing a sports bra. It wasn't good. So that's how low our expectations are as a fan base. We're like, we've got a Hummel kit. It might be nice, and that's something to look forward to for next season. But for this season, you know, you want Danny Ings to be scoring a few more. You want Shea Adams to score something. You want Walcott not to be injured. But I know that's a ridiculous thing to ask because what we should have learned from the past 15 years. But we're kind of tilting. I just hope that this bad run of form ends and we can go back to being not winning, but just not losing games again. Just get past 40 points before it becomes an issue. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I think for me anyway, definitely like Southampton definitely could be or should be pushing for Europa League if they can get the results together. They've got the quality in the squad to do that. Definitely.
Yeah, I was confident by saying 3-0, but I can so easily see it just going the other way. Like we've had some not great results against you in the past.
The past few have been quite fun. Have been really fun games. Like they've been the more fun for Southampton because we got the 3-3 last time, which was a good game, and then the time before that was the 2-0 on Boxing Day, which was a great present. That was a great day.
That wasn't so fun.
Oh, do you know what? I was round my dad's for Christmas, and when the Obafemi goal went in, I had to pause it to show everybody that it didn't take a deflection. It was just a wicked goal. Yeah. Nobody would believe me. Everyone was like, "No, they ain't scoring like that against Chelsea." It's like, no, they are. Look, hold on.
Whereas I was sat with my grandparents and just like, oh, I need another beer now.
So that is the way it goes. We had a really fun run of Christmas games last year, and it kind of didn't really work this year for us, but it's always nice to look back on. That last year, we also beat Spurs on New Year's Day, 1-0, and me and Mike was there, but I didn't go because I was so hungover I couldn't stand up, and I had alcohol poisoning. I literally and I had to get a train from Portsmouth to Southampton after the game, and had all these really loud Southampton fans come on. And I was like, I know we've won, and I'm very excited, but while I wasn't there, I'm angry at myself. So can everyone just not talk about it around me, please? And the only change of top I had was my Southampton top because I was meant to be there. So I was on this train, hungover in a Southampton top, not knowing what had gone on because the phone was gone. It was a rough one. But no, you're right. We should be pushing for Europa spots, but the squad depth and injuries have just taken its toll for us this season already. I think, you know, a lot like Klopp and like for you know, given City the league, which is really nice of him to say. Yeah. It's kind of the same for us now. It's like we probably have to give up on those Europa dreams this season now and just fight for the best that we can, and then hopefully go again this season. But I don't think Europa's too far off for us. I think there's a build happening. And it's all around Ralph. So as long as everyone doesn't go nuts and try and get him out, we'll be fine. But most fans understand that
I think with Hasenhüttl, like I think he can get you there. So about getting the right signings and the right squad together. I think
it's finding the balance. I think Ralph's got an idea of what a feeder squad should be in Southampton. As a club, have a sort of an idea. When you look at, you know, Bundesliga teams that are feeder clubs, they still do really well. Like if you look at like Atletico Madrid, who are, you know, for a little bit of time have thought of a sort of a bit of a feeder club and just what they can do. So Southampton, Ralph wants to aim for those Europa League spots and get players winning something before they leave. Just to get them in that position. Whereas I think Southampton for years, when think of a feeder club, it's you flounder a bit, you have a decent run, if you got some players in, and then you drop form again once those players go, and you have to build for it. Whereas Ralph wants us to be more sufficient and just be able to, you know, if we lose 2-3 big signings in the summer, we have the means to fill those gaps properly. Or when Van Dijk left, we had all this money to spend, and we spent it poorly because we had an awful run of managers, no direction of what we're doing. Since Ralph's come in, we've got a new director of football. We've got, you know, what they call the iBook, which is Ralph's formation, like Ralph's system and what he wants out of players and positions, and we just stick to that. The downside of that is when we need to go to plan B, It's kind of out the window.
That's a bit like Klopp in that sense, though. He doesn't really have a plan B for Liverpool.
No, it's that we do have the Alpine Klopp. That is that that's what they said he was when he came in, and that is what we're getting out of him. The downside to us is when Klopp shows emotion on the pitch, a lot of people are like, look at him go crazy. And then that time Klopp cried after Ralph cried after beating Klopp. He got a lot of grief for that. Yeah. But I loved it because I was almost in tears myself. So it was I love the fact that we've got a manager that it really means something to him. Like you all saw what Puel did when he went to Leicester, and look how bad Leicester were when Puel went there. He just dropped Jamie Vardy. Like he was a death send. He dropped James Ward-Prowse. He got rid of our captain Fonte. It's like that was bad. And Pellegrini didn't know what he was doing. Then Mark Hughes, who just didn't have it's Mark Hughes. Like he's not going to be in the Premier League again. And then we finally got this fresher breath air, and it's taken a while to get a system into place. And now we've got a system, and it really works when it's working. But we just have to build a bit of a deeper squad for it to maintain for an entire season. Yeah. Especially if we start aiming for European spots, it's definitely not going to be good enough because we'll be out of Europa like that with a squad like we've got. It just wouldn't be worth the time.
Cool.
Fair enough. Can't always have it all, unfortunately, in terms of football. But we've spoken a lot about football. Obviously, you are technically a YouTuber now. You're in lockdown.
Yeah, technically.
So we always just ask a couple of questions at the end, kind of, I guess, get your viewers who are watching this and our viewers to get to know you in that sense.
Yeah.
So what event or person inspired you to get into doing YouTube?
Honestly, it's Mike, who I do the channel with. Well, Mike, it's Matchday Vlogs is Mike's channel. Mike's super, he's so good at editing, and he loves cameras. If you ever look, he's got a other channel where it's just he's got a drone pilot's license. He's just insane. He loves it. He's really, really good at it. And we just ended up going to games, and we just started recording them. And it's only because I love doing it with him so much that I just keep doing it. And then the whole YouTube, it's not so much for YouTube, it is for football for me more than anything else. We speak about me doing a channel, from time to time, but I don't know what I want to do. But I love doing this because I like talking about football. I love coming on. I've been enjoying talking to you guys about football when we get guests on our show. It's just that football's kept me sane in lockdown. Even not this past 6 games, but it has really kept me sane. So just been doing it more and more and more and more. That's it. It's going to be weird when we start going back to games and we don't do the live streams, but then we'll be at the games, so we won't really care. So it's a whole different format when we're back to going to games. So it'll be weird to change it back up again. But really, honestly, Mike is the guy that he's the genius that does it all. I really just come on and talk nonsense. I'm sure you can tell by how I've spoken today. I can just come and talk nonsense for a bit.
That's the best guest, though.
That's all I've really got to offer is a motor mouth.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's all I've really got to give, and then a super biased, unwavering love for Southampton, and that's what I love. I don't know about you lot, but I don't really watch TV punditry anymore. I just watch fan channels and different YouTubers because you kind of just get a better opinion or just a more informed opinion or a more in-depth one than Alan Shearer on the side of the pitch for 5 minutes talking about it. You just get more out of it, I think, and I just don't watch TV anymore apart from when the actual games are on.
There was a massive blow up when Keane said that Liverpool were bad winners, and Liverpool fans were furious because they were saying, like, I saw someone say, like, this is why YouTube analysis is so much better, because someone could say that and then they'll back it up with points, whereas he just said that and then he moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So you're hearing from people who are like you, they're not the like.
Well, yeah, they were saying a massive thing about the youth these days is they are interested in hearing from people that speak like them, talk like them, have the same opinions like them, which is what people who do YouTube are, compared to people who are 30, 40, 50, who speak differently and have different opinions.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. It's especially if you're not a top 6 side club as well. Like it's for Southampton, we're never on first match of the day. If it's Southampton's against Palace, if you watch the pre-game, it's always about the United game or the Arsenal game that's on later, and then 5 minutes about Southampton. We just don't get that punditry. So when you start going on, YouTube, and you can watch with, the ugly inside for Southampton's amazing, and the Dal livery is really good. There's a really good community of people who know about your club, who know more about your club than any of the guys on the TV do, and they're going to give you an informed opinion. It's like when you start reading The Athletic after you've been reading the back of the Sun, it's like, why have I been doing that? Why? It's an upgrade. And then I just think the fan channels are an upgrade from that, because you're just going to get to know the club a lot better. It's just more communal. It's more what football's about for me. Even down to watching just all football content on YouTube. I love watching, away days and all that kind of stuff. I love watching little clubs. Who would have thought non-leaguers be that entertaining? That's non-leagues got on me through a lot of lockdown. Right, it's just bringing that back to football a lot more. I just feel when I watch it on TV, there's just such a distance from it. I just can't. I don't bother with it anymore. Yeah. Just don't bother with it.
Fair enough. Is this your first channel, or have you had others in the past?
Yeah, this is the first one. I mean, I'm a musician, so I do a lot of stuff on different bits and bobs. So we've got like band channels and stuff like that. But this is the first time I've done actual vlogs and sat down and talked to people and actually have a conversation and be myself. I used to do youth radio back in the day, so I've got the credentials.
Got the qualifications.
Oh mate, you got no idea. That dead format, I was wicked at it. So apart from that, this is all it's been.
Look at on your CV.
Man, that was on my CV for so long. The studio manager is only because he's a really good friend, and if you want a good, good reference, it's always good to get someone you go drinking with.
Very true.
So yeah, that's there. So this is my first foray into it. This lockdown was kind of going to be where I start doing a few of my own things, but I just don't know what I want to do. I talk so much about football with Mike. I kind of run out of stuff to say. Doing something else. Like it's good to talk to you guys because you can ask me questions. But if I'm just to myself, I say everything when I'm with Mike, and then after the game, I'm like, well, that's all the talking I need to do for today. Let's just sit quietly in my room and think about how bad the score was.
Fair enough, mate. What's your favorite type of video to do? And on top of that, what is your favorite video of all time?
I mean, the best videos to do, obviously, are when we're at the game and Southampton have won. There was an Aston Villa game from last season. Was it last season, or might have been it must have been last season. Obviously, last season at this point. And we won 2-0, and it was 1-1 for about 85 minutes, and then we scored the second one in the 80th and the 85th, and we all just went ballistic because it was the first. When you just wrap up a game and it's over, and it was just one of those games where the stadium was singing, everyone was big, the atmosphere was great, and then when you come out of it, and then the next day, or usually with Mike, I usually get a message at like 3:00 in the morning with the edited video. It's like, there you are. So it's that nice thing of I've had a great day, and now Mike's made a nice little video about it. Like that. Those for me are the best ones. Like even when we went to Tottenham and we lost, it was a bad game, but I had a really nice day out in London, and now I've got a nice video to remind me of it. So that's the best. That's the best stuff from it, really. The best video that on TikTok, the most viewed video that we have is a video of my hat falling off of our seats. It's got like 2 million views. I don't know why, but because my hat's famous, and it's got and that one video's got more than anything on the Portsmouth channel. I love it. I'll sit there and I'll keep rewatching. I'll keep getting those view counts up and up and up, just because if like any of my friends' kids that talk to me about TikTok, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, I've got one thing." Look how much that's got. Like it's the only time I get good credentials from anything. It's this channel.
Oh no, it's you next, isn't it? Sorry, I thought it was me again, but no, it's Tom.
You getting your nose up?
Yeah, it's you.
Is it? I just asked what's his favorite video.
How did you?
I like it, Matt.
It's not like we've done this 15, 17 times. And
did he just ask you your favourite video?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Did
he?
Yeah.
Oh, you're making us look bad, Ben.
If you come on our show, we just flat out won't talk to you. We get nervous. He's like, I don't know what to say.
I'm completely blank there. I thought I was like, oh, it's Tom's question next. No, I'm chilling. Where is it? What's your favorite thing about doing YouTube? That's the next question.
There we go.
It's the community thing. I love being able to just state an opinion about football and be able to talk about it. I used to go on a lot of Southampton forums, and right. I don't know about you guys, but forums get real nasty real quick, and it's hard to defend yourself and talk in those sort of places and get your point across properly. So on YouTube, I can say something, and I really don't have to deal with the backlash unless somebody says it in the comments, and I can discuss it openly. So to be able to just talk to people is great. But the best thing really has been when other fans pop up in my messages and just want to talk about Southampton, like. Okay, that's not great after we've lost a game and I've got 20 people messaging me saying how bad was that. Then I don't really like to talk to them. But before a game, when it's a game's going on, I always love it when people pop up and just want to talk about Southampton. Even the shop I work in, there's a few people who come in who are Southampton fans and they come in just to talk about it. So the more I can just stand and talk about football, the better it is. It's that thing of I used to like going to the games is the best thing ever because for 90 minutes I don't have to concentrate on anything else, just football. Mm-hmm. And as soon as somebody starts talking about football, I can switch everything else off and just be like, right, let's just talk about football. And it's honestly like it's great. Like there are people that I hate talking to when it's not about football, but as soon as it talk about football, that's fine. Family relationships are built on it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like so, me and my dad's side are Chelsea fans. My mum's side Spurs fans. So there's a lot of banter back and forth. So
we've got the greatest bit of like home video of my granddad holding me the first day out of the hospital when he's like, "Oh, we're gonna make the biggest Portsmouth fan out of him yet." Cut to 26 years later, and that dude's running the Southampton fan channel. Like, yeah, that's how you disappoint a family. So yeah, it's. I think football's just so woven in to everything that we do, and just to have that thing that I can just concentrate and just put on. It also, it makes you more invested in what's happening in the league, and there are fan channels that I like more than others, and just people that I like. I don't like Man United, but there's something about Mark Goldbridge that I just find hilarious to watch.
Yeah,
so I just end up watching a lot of it. I hate Arsenal fan TV, but as soon as they concede, I want to see what they do.
Yeah, Twitter, whatever Arsenal lose, like where's Arsenal fan TV? I want to watch Arsenal fan TV.
It's, do you know what? Before the United game, Arsenal lost 2-0 to Wolves and went down to 9 men.
Yeah.
And I was laughing my head off. I was like, "This unlucky Arsenal. How about that?" And then it happened, and I was like, "Right, let's." And then suddenly we were the Arsenal fan TV of that night. Our viewership went right up that game. Like it's ridiculous. So I got way more messages that night.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean they're quids in when Arsenal lose, aren't they? Like,
it is hilarious. There's nothing like we sit quite close to the away fans, and it's nothing funnier than watching away fans when they concede, and the grief they give you when you concede. And Arsenal fan TV is a really nice look at what the very worst members of the away fan sections are doing when they concede. It's like, brilliant. That's a little dose of it. I even just. Like if I'm watching Southampton, like Newcastle, when Newcastle concede, I might just watch like an Arsenal fan TV reaction just to get that. Oh yeah, that's what it looks like when someone concedes.
Fair enough. I think me and Ben and I can agree. The community thing's definitely
it's the best.
Big plus.
Yeah, it really is. Like I say, Mike's more on it than I am. That's you got hold of him way easier than you can get hold of me because he's the guy that's in and about it. But when I can just sit and talk to you guys for a bit, we've had Red Devil Studio on some of the Leicester channels. It's great to be able to just talk about football with people. Like how else was I ever going to meet you two lovely people?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it just wasn't. I ain't going to Swansea. No offense. Just not.
Yeah, it's understandable. I think having lived there for 3 years, for the third year now, I understand that.
Yeah, like I rate bits of Wales, but
we got decent beaches.
Yeah, but so does Southsea. But
yeah, no, I live in Bournemouth as well normally, so yeah, I wouldn't go to Swansea anyway.
You know, it's just great to be able to talk to people, and especially now when, you know, I can't see my best friend down the pub, but I can sit in here and talk to you guys for a few hours. It seems like it's not right, but at the same time, you know, I'm getting better chat from you than I will from him anyway, so it's fine.
Ooh, shots fired already. Shots fired.
He doesn't watch anything I do. He's not a good friend.
Oof, oof. Before you break relationships you can't mend, looking back at your YouTube career, what would you do differently?
I mean, probably put more effort in, help Mike a bit more. But there's nothing that I can't do. The nice thing is, I've done nothing so far. It's a blank slate. There's nothing I would change because I've really not done anything yet. So it's all sort of in the future to sort of get going and do some stuff. Whether if I make a football channel or not, but for myself, I don't know. But it's just doing more with Mike. Just keep doing what we're doing. There's no regret so far because there's nothing to be regretful about. Oh, when we lost 9-0 to Leicester, Mike was on holiday, so I had to make the vlog, and I was making a vlog the entire night, and it was really well done. And then the game happened, and I made the most longest rant, and I decided not to send it to Mike, and it was this fully produced vlog. I did everything, but it was so sweary and upsetting and violent and just like, I was angry. Like, it was the worst. Like, not only was that game bad, but then when you left, it was in the rain, and then when I left, the train back home was delayed. It added on, so I was just at the station like shouting at my phone. So the only regret is I didn't save that video, because I think now that would be some of the best content you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I think I would have to have gone to therapy afterwards. So for my own health, I had to get rid of it. But I do wish I had kept some of it.
Yeah.
Especially because on the train down, there's a very drunk man telling me about Leicester, and I recorded a lot of that. So there was highlights in that video.
No, so that's the only thing you would do.
That's the only regret, is that I don't even have like clips of it, because there were just literally just like 2 seconds clips of me just shouting, and then it just cuts off. Or like me, like, because I was there on Mike wasn't there, so I was just talking to random Southampton fans, and it was just these like really aggressive clips of very angry men shouting not nice stuff. It was like, if you watch The Ugly Inside, there's a Southampton fan channel, they do like fan reactions right after the game outside. If you watch them for that game, they're tame compared to what the people on my thing were saying. Because I was angry, so I wasn't filtering anybody, and I was like, I can't send this to Mike because he won't be friends with me anymore. Mike's the nicest man I know. Like, he's the nicest person you're ever going to meet in your life, so I can't send him a video of the worst of Southampton fans. It would have really.
But now it would be comedy gold.
Oh, honestly, yeah, it would have been like, it would have been amazing. It would have been, you know, just. I think it would have gotten more views than the hat falling off the disabled stand. Like, it would have been big. So I wish I had some of it, but there's no way I was going to keep it that night. No way at
all. So what would you? I mean, you mentioned that you might make a channel yourself. What would you say your future goals are?
I mean, that's a big job interview question. Right now, big goals. Who knows? Like I said, I'm a musician, so more of my spare time is done making music and doing all that kind of stuff. If you want to check me out, it's Fools, Fewels on Spotify. Got a new EP out end of the month. I wasn't expecting to talk about music on here, but whatever. So like that's my main thing is I do that. So music, but as you can probably imagine, we've got no venues and nothing to do. So it's a real awful time to be doing that right now. So hopefully all I want is in the next few months, if pubs can be open again and music can be played live again, and I can go watch football games again, I'll be happy. As far as big picture stuff goes, who's got time to worry about that? Who's got time? I ain't got time to worry about that right now. I've got football to watch and bangers to write. So
fair enough.
That's a very nice way to end the podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say, Ben or Jack?
I might change my Chelsea Southampton prediction to 3-0.
Southampton, because I've been so nice. That's that's really classy of you, man. I appreciate that.
What was that, Ben?
I might change it to 3-0.
3-0 to
Chelsea.
Cool.
Also, I've done a disservice then. Okay,
cool.
I mean, starts the podcast with 2-0, ends the podcast 3-0.
Like you say, I wouldn't put it past Southampton to turn up, but currently, obviously, it's struggling. So
it's all right. Dannying smash and grab. That's all you need to say. That's all we need to think. If you could all visualize it for me and manifest it, that'd be really helpful. I understand if you don't, but you know.
I personally won't visualize it because I don't want it to happen. But
don't worry. It'll be in your nightmares after the game when it happens. That's when it visualizes for you.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for coming on.
It's been a
match day
pleasure, guys.
There will be in the description, a link in the description, and follow his Twitter at FEWELS_.
That's me.
Yep,
that's me.
And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, lovely chat. One of the best chats that we've had in terms of funniness. It was really good. For the viewers, do check out our merch as always. Ben, do you own one? Do you own any?
Yeah.
You guys got merch. Hold on, you guys are way next level than us. This is great.
We have merch. We have merchandise.
I can't find it at the moment, but oh no!
Has he found it?
Found it.
He's got the black hoodie.
So sorry, you're called the Blue Podcast, and you've got a black hoodie.
Well,
written in blue.
Oh, okay.
And it's got turn around. It's got the logo on the back.
Logo on the back.
I respect that.
Yeah. It's not. We make, I think, 50p each per item.
Nice. nice, man. Hey, I do bands and merch. You don't have to tell me about not making money off the stuff you make.
Fair enough. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Do check out Jack and Matchday Vlogs. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a like. And if you are new around here, please hit that subscribe button. I think we're like 5 off 700 subscribers now. So we're creeping there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and goodbye.